Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're joining from. Thank you so much for joining us today to have this candid, interesting conversation. And the topic today is going to be the ABC of investing. And with me are two interesting guests, industry experts. On my right here is Anthony, the Group Managing Director of Old Mutual Investment Group. And on my left is Robert Ochieng, the co-founder and CEO of Abujani Investment. So kindly stay back and join the conversation. Now, Anthony, I want us to talk about a little bit about yourself. Just tell us what you do, and yeah, the audience will be more than is interested to really know about you.
Thank you for that. So as you've heard, my name is Anthony Mwithiga. I work at Old Mutual as managing director of the Old Mutual Investment Group business. Professionally, it's called asset management. I've been doing what I'm doing for the last 25 years, mainly helping individuals and companies access investment opportunities, whether locally or internationally. By locally, I mean Kenya or East Africa in general. I went to school to study math, economics, and finance. And I can't wait for us to have this conversation. Thank you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Anthony. And we actually share something in common. Since we studied maths and economics, I am also very passionate about data, and I believe that is also something that Anthony is passionate about. So yeah, we're very much interested to hear more about Anthony. Now, on my left is Robert. Robert, kindly tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Robert Ochieng, CEO and co-founder of Abujani Investment. So at Abujani, what we do is to champion financial conversations such as this, so that people can be informed and they can make informed decisions in terms of where they want to invest confidently. So with the conversations, you'll get to know the right tools, investment options, what to do, where to get information, especially in the information age, and then how to grow together with your friends and family and become wealthier. So that's what we do in different social media channels, such as X, or formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Robert. I think from now, the audience is really interested in knowing, like, first of all, over and above your professional journey, your investment journey. How did you start investing? Or rather, what was your first investment that you did? And what was your experience?
Yeah, that's a nice one, yeah. My first investment was actually getting a girlfriend. I'm joking. Don't do that. So please do. I think for any person, the investment journey is a demonstration of the appreciation that that they need an extra coin for a rainy day outside their formal sources of income. So back 25 years ago when I left school, I was an intern at Citibank, and I had some little money, and I started getting interested on what to invest in. And that time, today, we didn't have the opportunities or securities or investment options which are there today, especially for our young people in the country and globally. But the first thing I invested in, and I was telling Robert earlier, I joined a SACCO because it looked like it's fashionable, it's a must, and a mixture of the two. And the main reason for doing that was for me to get access to credit or to get access to a loan and buy a car and start driving very fast. Fast forward, I've now professionally understood investments, help people, organizations invest. If I might say, one of the uniquest investments I've ever done, some 15 years ago, I bought parking space. Or I bought a parking bay. Because 15 years ago, parking was rare in any building you go into. Even you could miss parking in a mall, even if you want to pay for it. And I had a very difficult discussion with with people in my house, telling them that parking is part of property, it's part of real estate, because it's just a space where you leave your car. And by then, buying parking space was not a very common thing like it must have become today. And if I think about any investment I've ever done which is outside my comfort zone, was buying space. I don't think I'll do that again because parking is everywhere. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, wow. Now, thank you so much, Anthony, for that. I think one thing that I'm picking out of this conversation with you, Anthony, is being able to identify unique opportunities before anybody else and just diving right in. Thank you so much, Anthony. Over to you, Robert. We are so much interested. What is your first investment and what was your experience?
Yeah, so I think for me, my first investment, I think, would be what most professionals typically do. So once you get a job, you become an expert in managing a business through your phone. Yeah, so it's known as side hustles. So for the first 4 years after getting my first job, I tried several side hustles, and all that happened was that the money was going, and I was spending a lot of time making phone calls, and in the long run, nothing happened. So I realized that was not a sustainable way to do things. And I was lucky enough to get an opportunity to work in a bank where I learned about the formal financial services industry in terms of investment, and started doing things now slowly, consistently, to build a defensive portfolio, and realized that portfolio can actually help you to take more risks. Yeah, but if you start with the offensive ones, like I started with the side hustles, and they fail, actually sometimes you can be traumatized when it comes to investing. You'll fear investing. So my story was different, unlike Anthony's, who might have gotten it right the first time in side hustle. But even what I'm doing now as Abojani is a business, so I moved from corporate now to Abojani. So it's that foundation through formal financial services industry that gave me the capital to be able to have the confidence to now move from a salaried position to entrepreneurship, which is quite a challenge with a lot of roller coasters, but it is good if you have a good foundation. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Robert. Now, I think you brought up a very important topic in the sense that when you're salaried, like I think I get a lot of DMs from my followers asking, we would love to start investing like in shares, treasury bills and bonds, but the only challenge is we have little income, we can barely save. So how do you start that? Let me start with you, Anthony. So I do not have, maybe I don't even have an income. I'm really interested in these investment products. So how do I start?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. And so there are 3 stages which will lead to you calling yourself an investor. And unfortunately, the choice is not binary. It's one. And it starts with a simple process. You have to get skills. And how do you get skills? You just have to go to school. And that's why people spend a fifth of their lifetime acquiring skills or going to school, or their first 20 years of life just going to school. After that, 3 things have to happen for you to start enjoying a saving, investing life. So the first thing is you have to be gainfully engaged. And I say gainfully engaged, not employed. It's nice I'm here with Robert, who is the opposite of myself. He's an entrepreneur, I'm an employee. Both is a representation of being gainfully engaged. So you need to earn an income. The first step is to earn an income. Not forgetting that you came from skills. Because today, skills attract capital, or skills attract entrepreneurs like Robert, or skills attract employers like Anthony. So once you get engaged economically, you earn an income. The second stage after earning an income is saving. Saving is not investing. Saving is putting some little money away from your gainful engagement for a rainy day, whether for a purpose or no purpose. Sometimes you can save just because you feel you don't need to spend the money, or you need to find out how to spend on it. Or you want to save because you really want to build towards something. You want to go back to school, you want to travel, you want to go on holiday, you want to buy an equipment or an electronic gadget you like, for many reasons. Or you just want to feel safe by saving. But the motive, it's not a return or profit. The motive is just to build a safe pot of money. Now, once you get a bit comfortable with savings, you need now to gravitate to investing. Because now investing, you are seeking a higher return and you have a slightly appreciation. There might be risk attached to gaining that return. And you also understand there are other factors in investing which are beyond profit, income, etc. Now there is risk, there is how do I get my money back, there are other concerns you're starting to get. So for me, if I just repeat myself, towards a journey of interacting with money is get a skill. Use the skill to get economically or gainfully engaged as an entrepreneur or as an employee. Then number 3, start saving. Then number 4, start investing. The money you had saved becomes the money you are investing. Just like the way Robert did. He worked in the financial services for many years. He must have saved to use that money to become an entrepreneur. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Anthony, for that. You've had 4 layers of building yourself. 1, he's talked about having the right skill sets. 2, being gainfully engaged. 3, saving. And lastly, investing. Thank you so much, Anthony, for that. Robert, how do I start investing and I don't have any income?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, and you get a lot of questions along that line. So I would say, first of all, like Anthony has said, you need to find a way to create value. And creating value, you also must capture the value. So it means that you are maybe working somewhere as a professional or an entrepreneur, and then you get rewarded for that. And that's actually the most sustainable way to venture into anything. If you are a professional and you have expenses and you are not being paid, you won't sustain it. If you start a business and you are creating value for people, they're happy, you have likes, retweets, but no money is coming home, you won't sustain it. So it's very, very important to find the sweet spot of being able to create value while you get paid. Because if you are paid, it means you can create more of the value that you're already creating. So like Anthony said, that's the first and most important thing to do. Then to sustain it, it's to always look at how much more can I do, you know, in whatever profession that you are in. Do you need new skills? Do you need networks? Because again, for you to create value, most of the times you need to know people, organizations, the right networks and platforms. And that also means that if you are young, you need to look at 3 things. So young people struggle with who are their buddies, who are their friends, and who they need to be friendly to. So buddies are people that you'll have fun with. So you can go for sherehe, you have fun, and that is it. No one will ask you about your CV or how you're going to earn an income. They're still good. And if you're young, you are biased to spend a lot of time with them. But you also need friends that the people will come through for you. They'll support you, you know. Like if you need to attend an interview and you don't have means, they can support you and you get there. So that's a friend. A buddy will just tell you, just keep your spirits high, all will be right. But they might not act to help you. Then our friendly are just people that you network with. You just need to be cordial, and that's the end of it. So it's important to know the right networks. And in the age of social media, things like your website, your LinkedIn profile, Instagram, sometimes they can speak on your behalf. Because I usually tell young people that no one stays in your head to know who you are, and no one stays in your computer to know what is in your CV. So it's important to express yourself in a way that can make us believe in you. If we see an opportunity somewhere, we'll have you top of mind. And then we make that connection. So networks like at school, if you are in school, don't just say that you are an introvert. or you are a backbencher, you know, everyone will forget about you. You'll finish school and forget about you. But if people know you, they'll pick the phone, they'll call you, and they'll be able to assist you. So it's important to have that layer and keep expressing yourself. If you hear there's AI that has come up, try to figure out how it is going to help you in your job. Because I remember like in 2015, I trained members, 2005, of a certain bank on Microsoft packages. And believe you me, if you had those skills, you'd be considered a genius at the workplace. Everyone will come to your desk. So you can see things change, and you need to know now your specific area. If you are in the medic space, if you are in the creative arts economy space, like you are a YouTuber, TikToker, you should know that you are creating value, and then you capture it and grow over time. Then after that, now you look for Anthony and other organizations who can give you now the skill set and the tool sets. So with that one now you can kickstart your journey, and you should see an investment as an extra hand. So as you work on your day-to-day job or business, the investment will also be working just as hard as you are working. So with that way, you're able to propel yourself faster towards your life goals that you might have. Probably you want to buy a car, you want to start a business, you want to go back to school, etc. So look at investing that way if I have to start with nothing.
Wow, wow, you've heard that. Know the difference between buddies, friends, and friendly people.
Friendly people.
I hope you're writing notes, because the gem that we're getting out of this conversation, I don't think you were taught this in school. So yeah, now, as young people, we always hear, start investing early, start investing early. So what are the benefits of, investing early? Like, what is there for me as a young person?
Wow, that's the, I love these questions for this session. They're properly curated to enlighten us. So why start saving early? Why start interacting with money in a cordial manner? Don't fight with money. Don't have a conflict. Why do you need to start having the right relationship as early as possible? There are three reasons why it's good to start having a relationship with money early, especially in terms of saving. One of them is the best sustainable way of developing and retaining a good habit is culture. So starting to save early, you are still coachable, you are still trainable, you can adopt to new ways of things. You are not as old as Anthony. So you can build a culture of realizing that if I have 100 shillings, it's okay not to consume 100 shillings. So you start building the culture of saving. So the earlier you start, the earlier it becomes part of your life. You must have friends who, anytime they have 1,000 shilling, whatever they're doing, there's a chance they will not consume all of it. And the vice versa is there. The others who have the same 1,000 shillings, they'll come home with nothing. The only thing they're worried about is the amount of money to take them home, either to pay a border or to pay a taxi, whichever mode of transport, or is fuel, or even to get a ride. So if you start early, the benefit you get, you make it part of your DNA. It becomes part of your culture, and you institutionalize yourself with that mindset of, I should always keep something for a rainy day, even if I don't know what I'm going to do with it. That's the first one, why you should start early. The next one is you have to accept that there's something called the power of compounding. I mean, I know our audience is full of highly educated professionals, friends and colleagues. If you are a mathematician or economist or financial person like me, well and good. You must have spent your schooling time learning about compounding or the compounding interest. What does it mean? It means what? The power of compounding is the tool which enables money to multiply faster, even though you are not adding more money in the same pot or in the same saving or in the same account. And what does that mean? It means the interest you earned last month, which is payable this month, becomes new principal, and when you add with the old principal, which has generated that interest, you have a new principal amount, interest plus income, and that figure of 2 is compounded. I hope I've not lost us. And that has more effect if it's done for a longer period of time. If you take a simple Excel worksheet and you compound anything for 36 months, and you compute the compound interest, and you do it for the same 36 months for simple interest, you'll see the difference is unbelievable. So starting early helps you enjoy the power of compounding. The third reason for starting early in saving, and this is really important, it forces you to start thinking and developing the right uses and behaviors of money. And it builds ambition in you. It just shows you certain things which are extremely out of reach are actually in your reach. You'll realize anytime you hear something like buying an air ticket, it's very expensive. It has to be paid by a parent, by an employer, or if you are young. But when you realize the money you've saved can actually make you do something which is unimaginable, which a person of your similar age group, economic status, or profession cannot do, you discover it is empower you. So it's really an empowering thing if you start early. That's why you see same quality of training, same skill set, same age, same profession, sometimes same employer, same opportunity, same town, same country, same income level, but the 2 or 3 people can do different things. Why? It's just because of their relationship with money. And that can only be part of you ukianza mapema. Si tunasemaga mapema ndio best.
Yes,
or that is still valid.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Anthony. So you've had, guys, why should you start investing early? 1, to build that culture. 2, the power of compounding. Again, Albert Einstein said that the power of compounding is actually the 8th wonder of the world. And you've already, Anthony has given us a very good example. Just take an Excel sheet and just do the simulation. You'll be surprised. And the other one is to empower you while you're still young. So thank you so much, Anthony, for those wise nuggets. Robert, why should I start investing early?
Yeah, like Anthony has correctly put it, when you start early, it becomes part of you. And that's why they say that money is silent, because once it is in your DNA, you don't need to show off anything. Yeah, it is natural. And it's actually an unfair advantage if you figured it out. Like I told you my story, in the first 4 years, my idea of money was depletion. When you get it, then you lose your mind. Then you only take a pause after it is gone. So you can do that even for 20 or 30 years. But see now the opposite of it, where you figured out what I call value-based spending. So value-based spending is to say that if I were to get this amount of money, this is what I'll use it for. And we say now when you're planning to use money, you look at paying bills, you look at living life and saving and investing for tomorrow. So that's how to live a balanced life financially. And some people might have opinions such as, why can't I have all the fun with the money? But the truth is, and some don't tell the story, they can have 1 day of fun when the salary has checked in, and then 29 days of misery every month.
That's very familiar.
So just see them that 1 day when they are all over. So it's good now to make that connection. And when you start now planning and budgeting, you now make connection with investing, because you want to accelerate your path toward achieving your goals. It could be starting a business, going for a holiday, you know. So if you put 20,000 Kenya shillings per month, you know at the end of the day you have 240. Plus interest, you have another 20,000. So actually your money is like a servant working on your behalf, and is one of the best servants. So some people say that the rule of money is save me today and I'll save you tomorrow. So it has no emotions. If you don't save money for holiday, my friend, if it reaches December, you'll have nothing. So you'll just be seeing people busy with vibes, you know. You wonder what the hell is going on. Yeah, so once you make that connection that you need to go for holiday, you need to go back to school and you start saving, it becomes natural. And then you'll just see that the dreams and aspirations that you have in life, the money is like your silent life partner that is helping you to achieve these goals. So the younger you start, the better. And even these days, retirement is just a certain amount of money that you need. It's not about the age. So if you feel like you can do it by 35, by 45, you start and you'll enjoy the benefits. And you'll get a lot of time to do the things that you really love. So instead of working for money, you'll be working because just something to live for. Yeah, so maybe you like football, so you can be spending time with young people in football academy, and then they can become the big superstars. So we've heard the story of South Sudan, whereby someone, because they had money, helped the young people there to become great basketballers, and they went even to the Olympics. So those are the things that money can do. So here, as we blame KFF and government, someone said, let me do it, simply because they have money. So there's a lot of power in that. Beyond your personal goals, dreams, and ambition, you can actually express yourself more in life. And some of the greatest things that we've seen in life is because people had excess money and they said, let me try Facebook, let me try Microsoft, and it worked, and now all of us are using it. So it's important now to elevate yourself and always talk about abundance. So you can only do great things if you're not worried about basic things like food or airtime. So the thinking that we have is what now innovation and creativity, because now you're able to express yourself beyond just the basic needs. So it's important to start building that as a young person and see yourself as a vehicle for creating great things in life. So I see as bridge builders. So if there's something that you want to see in the world, you can visualize it, and with financial resources, you can actually bring it to life. So I'd really encourage young people, get started. So there's enough money for sherehe, for paying bills, and doing the things that you love, you know. And some of them can be an extension of what the world needs. Yeah. So that's how powerful investment is. If a family has investment, their sons or daughters might not be limited to just looking for job opportunities. They can say, actually, let's start this business. And that's how you hear certain organizations started like that, and they became very big. Yeah, so it's a very, very big tool that you can use as young people, as families, you know, as households, you know, to bring so many things to life and live quality life, you know. So we are not just passers-by. We are not just here to be counted as statistics to say how hard life is and tough. It can be tough in a few years when you are street fighting, but with your savings and investment, it can get better over time. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love these conversations. I mean, if you have to forget everything, just remember, money has no emotions, and save me now, I'll save you tomorrow. So kindly do not forget that. Now, we've talked about young people, and I think in our generation today, we have an advantage over like long time ago. This is like there's social media, there's information everywhere. Now, looking at the older generation, there are people who are like, I never used to get this information anywhere. Like now, I'm just hearing this now. Where do I start? I feel like I'm late. So what is there for me? How do I even begin investing? I feel like time is not on my side. What would you say to such people?
Yeah, I think that's a good differentiation of the generations. One of the best gifts you can ever have is the gift of time, and by extension, the gift of being young. You make mistakes and you recover, and you move on, and you become better. You achieve your better self. I think currently, access to information is one of the biggest opportunities of living today. It's a huge opportunity. You can find anything you want just using your phone, and that has really changed everything. Before that, the biggest reason why people never did certain things or never became who they should have become, they never had information, or they had ideas which were not known, and they never got people to encourage them to execute them. I mean, one of the reasons why Robert is a successful entrepreneur in his business at Bojani Investments is because he is able to pass information to all of us and use that information and improve ourselves, our financial selves. So in the past, the only way to get information was 3 ways. Number one, become someone's apprentice. Just study the person who seems to know what's happening. It's almost like if you want to know what I know, you have to spend time with me.
Yeah.
That was it. Become someone's apprentice. The second one was what? The old school way. Open a book and read it. You just have to do that. You have to spend time in libraries or spend time reading things which you think they have the information you need. That was very... And then the third one was hang around or be in an environment which was mostly an institution where you'll get what you want, either in employment, sometimes in church, sometimes in any formal physical interaction with a group or with an institution. That's it. If you're very lucky, move around. I don't want even to say travel the world. just move around, town to town, village to village. If you're very lucky, travel the world. That's how you got information. Today, the people who've been fortunate to travel the world, they have experiences which we all admire. But there are people who've never been to those places, but they can describe everything, what happens in those places. Because the world is in our fingertips. So the access to information, data, or whatever you call it, has changed everything. So as a young person today, you should have an excuse of not doing anything, but the one excuse you should not have is I don't have information.
Sure.
Because the information is all of us. You are listening to us. I'm sure most of you have now read through us. You know us more than we know ourselves, using your various tools which you can. And that's an opportunity and a privilege we should really hold dear. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Anthony. Again, as a young person, right now, the most important thing that you have in your hands is information. Thank you so much, Anthony, for that. Robert, I am 45 years old. I'm just hearing these things right now, investing in bond shares. I've never heard of it. Where do I start? I feel like I don't have time.
Yeah, so the privilege that we have as a Bojani is that we've done one-on-one session with over 700 clients who have ended up investing, and they're across different age groups. So you have situations whereby even siblings have come up and raised money for their parents. So what we've seen is that whatever age you are at, there's still a lot of time. Even 45, if you look at the power of compounding, because naturally by 45, you are likely to be earning slightly more. And you can see the power of just putting even 100K Kenya shillings per month. In a year, it will be 1.2 million. If you compound that in 10 years, you'll comfortably retire with good money. So it's very, very important for you to make that connection, that time is your best friend. And the moment you realize that you need to achieve a certain objective, if you're 45 and you're looking at retiring with a passive income of, let's say, 100,000 Kenya shillings, 200,000, if you use a compound interest calculator, you'll be surprised at how easy it is with time and the right information, and now connecting with the journey from here to that goal. Which still, even the people that you admire currently, the people that will be surprised at age 50 or 60 that they are not looking at their retirement or even saving and investing. Yeah, so that's why it is important to know that we miss out on the goals because we have the goals in terms of emotions, but we rarely look at them logically. Like if you want to build a home, how much you do need? So you'd be surprised that probably you need to buy a piece of land worth 2 million and you can achieve it in 3 years. Then once you have the piece of land, you have another 5 years to save and you build the home. So when you look at things logically, you are likely to find solutions that would work. But if you look at them emotionally, you'll be overwhelmed. And that's why now we encourage people. And given the kind of output that we've had, I've seen people who are age 39 and their problem was very simple. They didn't know how to say no to their relatives. So actually teach people to say no even to their parents. Tell them that I'll be giving you 20K per month. So we jipange nayo 20K. Ikiisha ngoja tu, hata mimi ngoja salary yangu. Then they're surprised that because of that they're able to save more. So they're like, where was I 10 years ago? So usually they tend to be simple problems. Sometimes it can be debt. And we can tell them, since you're getting a loan from a bank at 18%, can the SACCO take it over at 12%? So there are different strategies, and people realize that actually there are solutions to most of the problems that they have. And some problems with people, especially that older generation, they are addicted to what we call doing projects. So when they start working at age 24, they're just doing, they feel like if they're not doing a project, they're not living life. So I'll tell them, please take a pause from all the projects. Just live 3 months without doing any project. Save even 50K per month. Na uone utamua hiyo pesa mali unaiweka. And they're surprised that actually with that method they can be able to save more. Because they'll tell you their story. They started maybe by doing the fence for their parents, you know, then water tank, then building the houses for their parents. After that, their siblings. 20 years are gone and they have nothing aside. But we tell them, create a balance, you know. Yeah, create a balance so that in your budget there's a pool for helping other people, and then there's a pool for yours. Because what happens now with saving and investing is that there's something we call yo-yo, which is you are on your own. Yeah. So all the people are struggling in retirement, they'll tell you how they did great things for other people. But there's no guarantee that they'll come through for you when you are in retirement. There's no guarantee that if you have an emergency, they'll come to assist you. So it's just to create that balanced approach. But time is always on people's side. I've seen that with the money market calculator, if you put aside even 50K per month, in 10 years you'll have 10 million. Very few retirees have that kind of money. So age 45, you still have crazy time ahead of you. Yeah, it's that connection that this is what I want, and you have to accept to change your ways. Yeah, so I usually say that that age, you need a little bit of panel beating, you know, changing things at that age is not easy. So usually we are very keen on them. They're the clients that I'm very close with. Yeah, if they need a Zoom session, I'm available. They're not like young people who can figure out things faster. So they need more of hand-holding. But I've seen between 3 to 6 months, they can be able to get used to the new way of things, and doing is actually the best motivator. Yeah. So once they start doing, then they'll start visualizing the path to the X amount of money that they want to achieve. So it's important to just take your time and realize that once you get the information, that is actually the right time. Yeah, we've had people who have come up with great things at age 50, 60. It's all a matter of using your capabilities. So you might have the right experience, skill set. I've seen people who didn't even know that they can monetize their skills, like become consultants. As SMEs, we struggle with things like taxes, you know. SMEs will tell you that there's this VAT that I paid somewhere, I didn't know that it is input tax, a lot of jargons. Yes. Then the accountant said, that's very simple. Then you realize you can save money from that. Then you'll tell other SMEs. Before you know it, that accountant or tax expert has gotten clients. And it's something that they can just do 3 or 4 hours in a month, and they're getting 50K or 60, you know. So there's a lot that you can do. So age also comes with a lot of benefits, what we call intangible assets or wealth. So it's just how you package it as a capability so that it can add onto your portfolio of investment.
Wow, I love this conversation. And thank you so much, our audience. I can see we have a few comments from Joe Chinga, and that's on Facebook. You're saying correct indeed, compounding indeed generates more money for a long period of time. I totally agree. Then we have Wealth Advocate on Instagram. You're saying absolutely. Real wealth is quiet, and the earlier you start, the better. And my biggest regret is not starting earlier, but I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm now extremely aggressive with my investment. Thank you so much, Wealth Advocate, for sharing that. And then Raphael is also saying that the biggest challenge is the lack of public education on safe investment opportunities. I love that. And just to reiterate what Raphael has said, we've seen what is happening in our country right now. Like in a span of 1 month, we've had around 2 scams, and people have lost billions of shillings. What's not happening? Where's the disconnect? Anthony?
It's a concern, especially to us who are in the formal financial services ecosystem, and who should play bigger roles in advising what to invest, how to point out real and fictitious opportunities. And we all bear that responsibility. But I think one of the things which can help all of us save ourselves from the scams, because they will never stop. Scams are like hackers of systems. That's why they have to be there. So antiviruses and all these preventive measures continue being developed. So we'll never see the last of these scammers. They were there since I started working. They just metamorphosized a new way of putting us in trouble. But as a young person, or even as an older person, I like what Robert said. There is no age you can't make a difference. In this country, we have a super example of the most successful person who made the biggest impact on his life, professionally, financially, and to this country from the age of 50. All of you know MJ, not Michael Jackson, but Michael Joseph.
Oh, wow.
He became the head of Safaricom at age 50.
Wow.
And everything surrounding his life is those 10 years, 50 to 60. And sometimes when you are 50, you might think it's too late. I'm late. No. The few years you have can make the biggest difference. So there are 5 things I want to share with us today about getting away from scam. And it's about identifying an ideal asset, an ideal investment. Of course, the word ideal sounds radical, because is there anything ideal in the world? The answer is yes and no. So anytime you are offered an investment opportunity or a chance to put money to invest, look at the following 5 things. If you tick them, you are safe. The chances of being scammed are negligible. One is, does that investment have a demonstration of a profit or a return or a payback? Is there a proper demonstration that I'll get something back? And most scammers, they work hard on that point. So make sure you tick that very well. But that's not the end. Number 2, ask yourself, does this investment grow? So don't confuse growth and income. Income is what we get every day. For example, if you own a rental house, income is the rent. Growth is not the rent. Growth is what? Is the appreciation in value of that asset, the value of that property. So number 2, that opportunity to be put on your table, does it grow? Number 3, is that opportunity liquid? And by liquid means, can I get out as the fastest opportunity with no loss in value or material loss in value in case I'm in such a hurry? Sometimes you want to get out of an investment and you can take a small pain because you're too much in a hurry. You want to move to something else. We call it liquidity in investing language. That's number 3. Number 4, which is paramount, and all of us ignore it, and is a reason why scammers succeed. What is the measure of security, or what's the measure of safe or safety in that investment? So if it's anything to do with a physical asset, is there an authentic document of ownership? If it's a car, is there a logbook? If it's a piece of land, is there a title deed? If it's a lease document, and that document is authentic, you can touch it or you can see it, it can be verified by the issuing authority, and it's valid and can be exchanged for value. So it can support number 3, it can support liquidity. You can exchange it for money. Safety. And then the last one, which is more critical, and that's why we had said earlier, we have no choice than to invest in skills and knowledge and some education. Is that opportunity understandable? And don't say, I'm not an expert. Don't say, I'm a farmer, I don't understand finance. Don't say, I'm an Uber driver, I don't understand finance. Don't say, you know, I'm in the art industry. I'm a good guitar player. I can write poems. I can be a good MC. So I don't know finance. No. The people who are offering you that investment opportunity, they should simplify that jargon in that investment opportunity. You as a layman, with your little knowledge about finance and investing, understand that. The ability to understand. And they should never, we see doctors. Doctors are very learned, technical people. But they're able to tell us what is ailing our bodies. They don't mention stomachache with its biological name. They say you have a stomachache because you ate bad food. So make sure that professional is able to, who is offering you that product or that investment chance opportunity, make you understand. So return, growth, liquidity, if that is good English, understandability, you should be able to understand. If those 5 things you cannot put a tick on them, walk away. Walking away might actually be the opportunity. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think when I was looking at there's a clip that was going around on social media regarding a lady who lost 3 million. And she'd actually borrowed money from, I don't know, the son and the relatives, and it all came to 3 million, and she ended up putting in this particular scam. So yeah, I totally agree with you, Anthony. Like, those 5 components are very, very important. Yeah. Anything to add, Robert?
Yeah, so he's explained it elaborately. And just to add on that, when you look at personal finance, it is a life skill.
Yeah.
So for life skills, you just have to be curious and open-minded so that you can learn. Because remember, the money that you work hard for is for your personal needs and living life. So you also have to take good care of it. Otherwise, the scammers take advantage of that because they know that lack of awareness is actually the biggest opportunity. When they look at us, we work very hard as entrepreneurs, professionals. So there's high probability that you have money, and they've done their research. They know people work in banking sector. They're likely to be earning, you know, biashara people. So the only way to protect ourselves is through skill set. And I usually say skill set is the first layer of risk management. Because if you are aware of stuff like what is the reasonable rate to get investments in the country, what are the rates that banks are lending at? If they're lending at 25% and someone is giving in a year, and someone is giving you 40% per month, you should ask yourself why that person is not going to the bank to get a loan. Because the job of banks is to look at bankable projects, you know, initiatives with such guaranteed income that scammers claim. So if banks can't invest in it, just think twice. Ask yourself why they're not doing that. So it's very, very important. Then on sources of information, it's important to understand the layer of financial markets 101. So you have to be curious. Know who CBK is, National Treasury. So that is the grandfather of money in a country. And you can see how silent they are. Even CBK are under them. Yeah? Yeah. Then under CBK, you'll have banks. Then you have capital markets authorities. Yeah. You have SASRA for regulating circles, Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. There are people who think they are poor, but probably they are relatives who passed on, and they have a lot of wealth somewhere and they don't know. So awareness can help you. As you get interested in financial markets 101, what insurance is, you start learning. Yeah, and I believe with curiosity you can learn. For example, if there's a football match or Olympics, we figured out which teams, you get statistics of the best athletes, you know. So the same go with finances. If you go to CBK website, there's a lot of information, Capital Markets Authority. Then since it is a life skill, you'll get better over time. And not through your life cycle, you'll need different things. There's a time you need to understand about retirement or insurance for kids. So you just need to be open-minded. Then as you build your knowledge and skill, also have trusted people in the financial services industry that can give you information. So in terms of relationship management, I always tell people, yes, digital is good, but it's always good to have someone that is a phone call away that you can verify information with. So that could be what can save you from losing the 3 million like the person we are talking about. Yeah, so money works in networks with the knowledge, and you can see it is a world that you can live for the rest of your life without knowing that it exists. That's why the opportunities for making mistakes are, they far much outweigh the opportunities for making money, because people live their life without that awareness. So it's very, very important to have the awareness, and from the awareness, there's no guarantee that you'll be successful, but it increases your chances of success.
Thank you so much, Robert, for that. Now, before we get into products, because we're going to touch a little bit about money market funds, bonds, because I can see a lot of questions concerning that. I just want us to, close off this session, like this session of before the products part. I want to talk about a very emotional topic, and you'd already started touching about it, and that is on black tax. Where do you draw the boundary? Let me come to Anthony, because we'd already started talking about it. Black tax, like it's a common problem in African households. So where do you draw the line? Like, I'm struggling, but people are still expecting me to send them money back at home.
Yeah, it's a burden of our lives. We're stuck with it. And maybe that's the reason why in the African continent, the culture to help those close to us is the missing capital for us to become great. But again, we can't leave our friends and relatives behind, hence black tax. But I think there are three things for me, and you realize I like counting, so so it comes with the territory of my background. So there are three things which can help you deal with black tax, because you'll never avoid it. Just set some rules. So one of the things you should be very clear about is who is eligible for that black tax from you. Just define it, and you can keep on changing that definition, but it should stick to some level, that who is eligible for money from me regardless of what they want to do with it. Because when you give money to a loved one, to your mom, to your dad, to a cousin, to a friend, and you don't want it back, or you don't expect it back, you don't put too much effort in what they want to do with it, because you've said, I'm going to help you, take it. I call them all the well brought up young people who send something to their mom or their dad back home, rarely to their dad, to their mom, don't really follow up what their mom does with the money, because they have said, it's for you, you've been there for me, I'm being there for you. So number one, define who is an eligible recipient of that, and widen it or narrow it according to what your belief system and also your ability. Secondly is define what component of your income deserves to be given to other people. You shouldn't be random about it. So if it's done for that season, for that month, for that year, that's it. Even if you have more, you say, I think I'm always able to give XYZ to my recipients of my help, and I've already done it. I think any other need has to wait for another season when I want to redefine who is eligible. So you define the amount. And the third one is causes which are dear to you. If supporting your parents is dear to you, and it should be, you can't exchange a parent for anything. If you define the cause that dear to you is helping parents, helping young brothers and sisters, helping a member of an extended family, helping people who you have become part of your ecosystem because of various reasons, either professionally through associations of either marriage, otherwise, and many other things you've done. If that cause resonates with you, do it. The people who do things outside the formal black tax, because the formal black tax is within family. Outside, there's a bit of causes, like I support this cause because it affected me and I succeeded, so I need to support that cause for some to succeed. There are people who support certain causes, especially with diseases, where they have conquered, and they need to help other people conquer those diseases. or anything you do because it touches your heart. You love children. You love spending time with. Personally, I spend a lot of time with young people, and the time or the money is enough cause for me, and I can easily classify it as part of my black tax. So, define number one, who is eligible. Secondly, how much can you commit in a particular time, day, month, year, season, or whatever is your measure of income computation. And then lastly, the causes which are dear to you. If a genuine needing your money and is radically outside your things you consider genuine causes for you, just stay away. I like what Robert said here. Just learn to say no. I mean, when someone doesn't contribute to matanga or to a burial, I mean, for God's sake, don't kick them down. I mean, that's a cost they don't. I've worked with international colleagues elsewhere where they actually can't contribute to that because it does resonate to the things which deserve their money, and they have solutions for that. For example, in Old Mutual will tell you, why don't you buy a funeral cover? I know it's heavily cultural, but it can work, it can substitute that. So someone will tell you, I don't want to contribute in a matanga, but I want to help you get assistance from a more formal, sustainable channel. And I think that's how I'll advise people to deal with black tax. But avoiding it, you can't. Just learn how to make it part of your life without it pulling you down.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think one thing that I'm getting out of your conversation, Anthony, is being able to set financial boundaries. Like once in a month you've already committed a certain amount of money and it's done during the month, then you should have the ability to say no and don't feel guilty about it. So yeah, thank you so much, Anthony, for that. Robert, black tax. I know you'd already touched on that, but now I just want us, like from your perspective, just explain to us how do you deal with it?
Yeah, like Anthony has rightly put it, I think it's good to set the boundaries. So when you set the boundaries, you create the rules. Yeah, and they can be informal rules and people know. They'll know that if you need anything from Anthony, always tell him 3 months in advance. Yeah, if you don't have boundaries, they'll figure you out. They'll know that you're this type of person. In the morning, you usually rush to work, so they'll call you while crying. Since you're in the heat of the moment, you send them the money, and they'll do it as they wish, Yeah. So once you set the boundary, it's also to know why you are doing what you are doing. So I call it value-based spending. So whenever you're spending money, you should always make a connection with why you are doing it. So we said saying no is a complete sentence. And the other angle is to look at the friends or relatives. They're your relatives, not friends or relatives of your money. Yeah, so friends can help each other. Like I've gotten job opportunities where my friends recommended me and I was able to earn money. So they're actually giving me money. So friendship is not about taking money from each other. Yeah. And I've gotten young people that were struggling to get job opportunities. Someone did for them their CVs and they're able to get job opportunities. And recently, there are 2 friends of mine who are looking for job opportunities in banks, very senior roles. And I said that that role, I want you to understand the strategy. Can you meet in town? I take you through the strategy since we do analysis of banking sector and we've attended most of their sessions. So actually see where they are going. And luckily the 2 of them, they got those job opportunities with some good salaries. So friendship and being a relative is about supporting each other to grow. Because if you want to take from each other, the person who is being taken from by everyone will end up being hated.
Sure.
Yeah. They'll always say, someone says like this, they don't like giving people money. But if you remove the money conversation, you realize that there's so much that people can do together. And also it's good as siblings to come together and solve problem at family level. Because sometimes siblings can gang up against the softest. So they'll know it's Robert, Juliet, or Anthony. So they'll just tell the mom or dad, so is single, they don't have a lot of obligations, just call them. So you need to know the games that are going on even within the family. And that's why the awareness is key. But I think the boundaries and awareness, people know that this is how Robert or Juliet is, and they'll respect that. So it's very, very important, yeah.
I love that. Oh my God. So Brenda on Instagram says that financial literacy is key. Learning institutions should focus on creating awareness, even pupils in primary schools. And she says that, I wish I had some knowledge in my early 20s. It's not too late. You're still on the right track. And then we have Kate on IG also saying that appreciation to Old Mutual for this forum. And I believe having this regularly is important. So we need to be having these conversations like on a regular basis. And then Wesonga on LinkedIn says that doing a due diligence is vital before you undertake any investment. So let's not lose our money as a result of ignorance. Very important. Great insights from the guru. Dominic says, great insights cutting across all age groups, no fear of missing out, no FOMO. And that is Wambasu on IG. Oh. Now, as we're coming to the end of this conversation, I just want us to touch a little bit about like investment opportunities in the Kenyan market. I know there are people in the diaspora who are watching us today, and they're like, I want to start investing back home. But there's also that fear of, I'm not so sure about giving my money back to my relatives, because we've had instances whereby someone is contributing towards building a house back home, and then when they come to retire, there's nothing. So yeah, just to touch on investment opportunities, both locally for people who are living here and also those in the diaspora. What are these kind of opportunities?
That's the interesting part. Investing opportunities. And by the way, this can be found anywhere. So Robert and I are not going to invent opportunities. We're just going to reinforce what is available for all of us. So remember we had said the journey of investing starts with earning, then goes to, getting a skill, earning, saving, then investing. So at investing level, there is an assumption that you've ticked box 1, 2, and 3. You have a skill, you have gainfully engaged as an employee or an entrepreneur like Robert. And thirdly, you've been saving, so now you want to invest. So again, investments are classified in similar 3 buckets, what we call low risk, medium risk, and high risk. And the difference is just the level of return, or the ability to make more or lose more, or make little and lose less. You know, risk and return are 2 twins which can be separated. And we should always be aware about that. So some of the opportunities available at a low risk level, which are the best to gravitate from saving to investing, is what is famously in this country called as money market funds. In fact, nowadays it's just being called money market. The word fund is not there. And a money market fund is just is an example of a unit trust product. Good returns, I must say, well secure, highly governed, properly regulated, offered by reputable institutions, for example, us as Old Mutual, etc., etc. So that is an opportunity there. And please, whether you are young, old, rich, or poor, you need a money market account. I can tell you, it's something which we all need. Then there are other things within that bracket of low risk. They are usually treasury bills issued by the government of Kenya through the central bank, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. If you have a good relationship with your bank, you can still get a bank deposit in your bank, any type of bank deposit, whether it's fixed, call, term, whatever they call them, or anything which pays interest, income. There's a likelihood it's low risk. The higher risk starts coming in terms of the length of time and who is issuing that instrument, and lastly, does the value change? Or the principal, does it change? So that's low risk. In the middle, you start becoming comfortable with a bit of risk, but because you want high return, because you've done the basics. You're not worried about the basics of life. You're not worried about losing money. You have a safety net. If in the middle collapses, you have investments in the lower level. It's your fallback. So in the middle there, you start having longer term investments like bonds, which are still secure, but their value changes because of something in our investment, what we call, they have an inverse relationship with the direction of interest rates. When interest rates go up, by the way, guys, the valuation of bonds goes down. It's a very unique relationship which we should study. I like what Robert says. Financial education actually is a life skill. Today now I can say that. I thought it is a best to have. Yeah. It's actually a life skill. It's not a best to have. Then there are other things in the middle which can earn you more. Debt instruments issued by companies and non-government institutions which pay you, they behave like a bond, etc., etc. In that level, you can even classify property-related investments. A piece of land, provided it has a title deed, a house, some things which require a lot more money. Then we go to the top, which is aggressive or high risk. And when it's said it is high risk, it does not mean that you need to run away from it. Understand, how can I manage that risk? Robert says one of the ways of managing risk is actually, did you say educating yourself or making yourself knowledgeable? So understand, why is this investment opportunity being called high risk? Because a low risk investment can become a high risk. Sending money from abroad to me in Kenya to buy for you a treasury bill or a money market fund, if I'm not honest, it becomes high risk. Sure. Although the intention is low risk. So at the top of high risk, you have your usual shares or in the securities in the stock market. If it's the unit trust, you have what we call the equity fund. Now we have a bit sophisticated opportunities in my life. We call them some more deeply structured products, starting to look like some things we call derivatives, investing in currencies. You know, I should be the first to say, buying another currency other than the Kenyan shilling is not an investment. No. An investment is buying a product which is in another currency. But just buying the dollars and keeping them in your handbag or your mattress or your bank account, that is not investing. You're just changing money from one currency to another. So at that level, you need more advice. You need more knowledge. In fact, the people who seek at high risk, we normally call them sophisticated investors. Either they have highly educated themselves or they are being handheld by an investment professional like myself and the colleagues I work with at Old Mutual. So understanding those. Now, if you are abroad today, you're a Kenyan, you want to start building a port back home, you have one advantage. You're holding dollars. I mean, we all believe that earning in dollars sounds more superior than earning Kenyan shillings. And it is, especially if you're going to spend that money in Kenya, where the Kenyan shilling is weakening against the dollar eternally. When I started working, the exchange rate to the dollar was 45 shillings. Today is 130 on average. So just tells you earning in dollars has an advantage. So if you're sitting, especially in the diaspora, for example, in the United States, you have an opportunity to invest in Kenya for the first time. You know why? Dollar money market funds have become very popular. You can invest here, earn in two ways. The interest from the dollar money market fund, which is 5% or better, and that is not available in the US. Colleagues, I can tell you that. Sometimes when someone makes a mistake, I find myself in the US. So, so please know that it's hard to get 5% in the US, which is available tomorrow, is not tied, is as liquid as a dollar money market fund. Secondly, you earn from the appreciation because of the likelihood a continuing depreciation of the Kenyan shilling against the US dollar. So please, as a start, if I'm working and living in the diaspora, as for example, the US, and I want to start having a saving and investing relationship with my country, buy a dollar money market fund in this country. And then after that, you'll get to more sophisticated stuff. If you have more money and you want to get sophisticated, talk to us. You can also buy Eurobonds. I know Eurobonds have some meaning because they came with a bit of confusion, but they're still eligible opportunity for investing in foreign currency. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Anthony, for that. Now, just before we close, just one more. I know in Kenya there's, land, maguta. And so someone is asking, is buying land still a good investment?
Yeah, so just to add on to what Anthony has shared, I would just say that when I look at investing, I would look at creating a portfolio. And I've had some of my mentees who started very well, but they came to learn about cryptocurrencies and now they're crazy. They're saying that anyone who doesn't have crypto doesn't know what they're doing. That's not how investments work. So it's not good to be polarized about just one investment option. Create a portfolio. So look at the personal finance value chain. You start with the foundations. Don't skip the foundations. So like when you need a place to put emergency fund, something like money market fund would work for you. And even if you are to buy that piece of land, you need capital. You need to put 20K per month. You have 240. Maybe you put 200,000 as down payment. Yeah. So you can see the different vehicles can actually help you to achieve various objectives, including buying land, as long as you know the role that land plays in that portfolio. So I usually tell people to have a journal of investing where you write down why you are buying something. Yeah. So you should know why you are buying that piece of land. Because sometimes people tell me, should I buy a piece of land in Kitengela? I don't know whether you should buy or not. So you should know why. And when you look at land, they would be considered hard assets. So sometimes they can be good if financial markets are in distress. But just ensure that you have a balanced portfolio and you know the role that the land is playing in that portfolio. Then over time, the problem that you might have on this side of the world, we need to be aware that wealth has been financialized. So that's something that blacks globally need to come to life with. If you are sitting here and NVIDIA is growing to 1 trillion and we are not part of it, we'll be getting poorer. Yeah, because someone who has the shares or have invested in real financial markets, when the asset prices rise, they sell as you are trying to negotiate for that house that you are buying, they won't have time to negotiate. Yeah. They'll actually tell that person, I can even pay you tomorrow. So that brings now what we call inflation, because now people who have gotten money in financial market, when they bring it into the real economy, the prices of assets tend to rise. So we need to know that over time, we need to move from accumulation to building cash flow. So the piece of land won't pay for a bill in hospital, it won't pay school fees, you know. And to live life, you need cash. At the end of it all, what are you doing holding? The piece of land, yes. So you need to have that balance. So I would talk about a portfolio. I always say start by being defensive. If you are good in boxing and you only know how to throw the punches, in the third second, you'll get a technical knockout, you know. So it's good to be defensive and offensive and do balance and be very logical, because even some of the biggest investors in the world who have made money in the stock market, they have a lot of money, things like treasury bills and bonds, bank deposits, you get it. And some people sell shares in their companies. I have an entrepreneur whose company was valued at 300 million. They sold 10% at 33 million and put in a retirement account. So different assets can help you create value so that you live the life that you desire. So it's not about saying I'm a land person, I'm a crypto person. No. So no, crypto won't pay the bill at Java as we speak now, you know. Yeah, so it's just good to have that balance. And actually I've invested in crypto, but I don't say, you know. So people think that you have to say it is when now you are famous. No. It doesn't work that way. As long as it is serving you, just keep cool and let it work for you and live your life and enjoy. Yeah.
I love that. No, love that.
Can I add something on that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And for us who are here local in Kenya, for example, don't shy investing internationally or offshore. And the best way to invest offshore, don't focus on buying the securities. Focus on buying a bunch or a combination of securities or opportunities. Abroad, they call it mutual funds or a collection of certain securities. The sophisticated young people in Kenya today, they tell me they buy Magnificent Seven. That means it's a collection of all those tech companies in the US, which are sold by some international local brokers with presence in Kenya, and you can buy fractional shares, and you are happy. But there's something fundamental I thought I should mention when I talked about low, medium, and high risk. The best investment is not a single security or a single asset class. Is what Robert has hinted and has said, is a diversified portfolio. You need to have some of your money in every segment of the risk return profile of low, medium, and high, in different proportions and in different levels at a particular life of you. It's just like driving a car. When you are younger, you are driving a bit faster. When you become middle-aged, you lower your speed. When you're at my age and above, everyone is behind is hooting at you because you're not moving. And investing is like that also. Make sure that your investment portfolio defines the stage you are in life. I like what Robert said. It's good to have hard assets like property and everything, but cash is king. Respect that the investments you are having should bring cash flow, and cash flow pays bills. Don't be asset rich and cash poor. Yeah, thank you.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
parting shot. Do not be asset rich and cash poor. So always diversify your portfolio. Now, guys, this conversation does not end here. We've gotten some really positive feedback from, we should do this more regularly. And just to mention is that this conversation is powered by Old Mutual. And yeah, so you can follow Old Mutual on Instagram at Old Mutual Kenya. Follow Abujani on LinkedIn and X. And yeah, let's keep the conversation going. And thank you so much for those who've joined from the diaspora and here in Kenya. Thank you so much for also powering this conversation. And have a good one. Bye.